Imagine an America where you have to choose between filling up your gas tank or buying enough food for the week, where every delivery truck is at risk because of fuel shortages and prices that fluctuate by the hour. As major pipelines close, as exports tighten, as oil wells shut down because they are no longer profitable, America is being squeezed from within. Because when the oil stops flowing, everything from food to transportation to electricity is taken down. And you will be surprised to see the names that seemed invincible are the first to fall. Please watch the video until the end with the global lens to learn more. Welcome back to Top 10 America Beyond, where we dive deep into the stories shaping our nation's future. Today we're exploring a scenario that's got everyone talking: what happens when oil supplies dwindle and hit America's heartland hard. If you're new here, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on energy challenges, and subscribe to Top 10 America Beyond for more eye-opening content like this.
Top 10 America Beyond.
Number 10, New Mexico. New Mexico might not boast the glitz of Wall Street or the tech buzz of Silicon Valley, but for years it stayed afloat thanks to one powerhouse: oil and gas. Nearly half of the state's budget relies on taxes from this sector, especially from the Permian Basin, once hailed as the state's reliable revenue generator. But now that generator is sputtering. With oil prices dropping sharply, production cuts rolling in, and revenues vanishing over just a few quarters, the impacts are rippling out fast. Healthcare benefits are being trimmed, schools are facing budget squeezes, and community programs are pausing. Folks in poor indigenous areas are feeling it doubly, losing jobs in the oil fields while essential supports they count on start to fade. Towns like Las Cruces, Hobbs, and Roswell, which once thrived on oil activity, are now quieter, with empty storefronts and families making tough choices between essentials like medicine for the kids or keeping the lights on. New Mexico pinned its hopes on oil for stability, but as the flow slows, those dreams of a steady budget are turning into real headaches. Shifting our gaze northward, we see similar strains in a state that's been a fracking frontrunner, where innovation meets harsh realities in the energy game. Have you ever wondered how quickly a booming industry can hit the brakes when policies and markets shift? Number 9, Colorado. Colorado burst onto the scene as a shining star in the US fracking world. Modern hydraulic fracturing tech turned those dry lands east of Denver into hot investment spots, with production soaring in under a decade. Thousands of jobs flooded in, billions in dollars followed, and the state claimed its spot on the national energy map. But change came swift and unrelenting. Drilling permits got bogged down in delays, new environmental guidelines slowed approvals and renewals, and output took a nosedive. Maintenance costs for shale wells climbed while oil prices tanked, pushing small outfits into bankruptcy and forcing big players to slash staff. By early this year, over 8,000 fracking workers in Colorado were out of jobs. Oil and gas hubs like Greeley and Rifle are watching residents pack up, schools tighten belts, and local shops shutter. Colorado's got plenty of promise, but with the shale sector squeezed by market forces and regulations, that potential feels like it's being held back right when it matters most. From my perspective, watching states like New Mexico and Colorado grapple with these shifts reminds us all that true resilience comes from building diverse economies. Nearly 50% of New Mexico's budget tied to oil shows how vital it is to spread risks, ensuring communities aren't left vulnerable when one industry falters. As we move eastward, the industrial backbone of the Northeast reveals how energy woes can stall manufacturing might. What do you think happens when factories that power our daily lives suddenly face fuel hurdles? Number 8, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania stands as the industrial heart of the Northeast, long powered by affordable energy to keep its production lines humming. Steel, chemicals, cement, and industrial plastics all draw life from natural gas and oil. Yet, as supplies tighten, prices surge, and allocation rules get stricter, the sector is slipping into slowdown mode. Dozens of steel mills around Pittsburgh have paused operations, leaving thousands of engineers, workers, and contractors on indefinite furlough. Chemical facilities along the Delaware River are running at under 30% capacity. The whole Northeast supply chain feels the pinch too, from Philadelphia's docks to the industrial rail lines. Every step is bogged down by shortages and climbing costs. Pennsylvania symbolizes America's manufacturing legacy, but in this energy crunch, that legacy wavers, and without swift steps, the Eastern Industrial Corridor could face extended downtime. Heading west to the Golden State, we uncover a paradox where innovation thrives but basic fuel issues threaten to derail it all. How might skyrocketing gas prices reshape the way we live and work in a place like California? Number 7. California. California isn't famed for oil production, but as the biggest energy consumer in the US, from Los Angeles to San Francisco, Silicon Valley to the Central Valley, everything hinges on fuel. When gas hits $9 a gallon, the economic engine starts to stutter. Transportation takes the first hit. Interstate trucks reroute to dodge high costs. Agriculture follows suit. Central Valley farms, churning out nearly a third of the nation's fruits and veggies, can't shoulder the expenses. Logistics giants like Amazon and supermarket chains are trimming routes, hiking prices and delaying deliveries. Things get so tough that suburban folks are ditching cars for bikes, or even stepping away from jobs because commuting turns burdensome. Urban balance tips as a result. California embodies global innovation, yet it's choked by something as fundamental as gas prices. Personally, reflecting on Pennsylvania and California's struggles, I believe embracing renewable alternatives could be key, with over 8,000 jobs lost in Colorado's fracking alone highlighting the need. Investing in diverse energy sources now might secure brighter tomorrows for millions. Venturing into quieter territories, a state often overlooked, shows how energy reliance can quietly erode foundations. Ever pondered why some places suffer in silence during big shifts like this? Number 6. Wyoming. Wyoming stays off the radar for many. It's not a headline grabber, not overflowing with crowds, and far from a bustling factory zone. That's precisely what makes the fuel crunch land with such understated yet sweeping force. The state counts on oil, gas, and mining to fuel its coffers, pulling in close to 60% of its funds from these sources. Even with fresh federal assessments in 2025 spotlighting vast undiscovered reserves in the Southwest, and rig counts climbing to 21 this year, up from just 11 last spring, production is trailing behind expectations. As prices nosedive, firms scale back explorations, leaving promising sites untapped and local economies in limbo. Property markets soften, educational funding dips, and outlying medical facilities streamline services to cope. Locals are drifting away gradually, chasing more reliable prospects. Places like Casper and Gillette, built around energy pursuits, now echo with subtle changes, lacking widespread attention or support packages, just expansive landscapes absorbing the ongoing pressures. Wyoming isn't erupting into turmoil, it's simmering under the surface like an unexplored reserve waiting for better days. Turning south to a former shale darling, we see how rapid rises can lead to equally swift setbacks. What lessons can we draw from a state that transformed overnight? Number 5. Oklahoma. Oklahoma emerged as the gem of America's shale surge, evolving from a tranquil farming landscape into a dynamic hub for hydraulic operations. Tulsa and Oklahoma City expanded rapidly as energy companies invested heavily, sparking employment booms and prosperous times. Yet the turnaround hit hard and fast, with oil values tumbling, borrowing costs escalating, and investments retreating. Insolvencies reshaped the scene. Recent 2025 reports highlight a rebound in natural gas drilling due to heightened demand and new infrastructure, but overall hesitation prevails. Companies prioritize returns over expansion, limiting growth despite bullish outlooks. In a mere half-year span, upwards of 12,000 positions in the sector vanished around Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Housing sectors stalled, commercial spaces vacated, and state finances, historically supported by energy levies, juggle to balance shortfalls. Oklahoma encountered an unprecedented jolt, spurring residents to relocate from familiar grounds in pursuit of fresh opportunities. In my view, seeing Wyoming and Oklahoma navigate these quiet storms teaches us the value of community planning, with nearly 60% of Wyoming's revenue from energy underscoring it. Fostering local skills in emerging fields could help buffer against such economic waves. Crossing into the last frontier, a land of vast beauty and resources unveils the harsh side of isolation amid fuel woes. How does a remote paradise cope when every drop counts for survival? Number 4. Alaska. Alaska, that breathtaking expanse brimming with natural wealth, earned acclaim as a prime U.S. oil haven. Today, doubts cloud the horizon. Core earnings from petroleum are fading swiftly. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline, formerly channeling over 2 million barrels each day, operates below 25% of its peak, inflating maintenance expenses amid closure threats. 2025 initiatives aim to broaden leasing in the National Petroleum Reserve, potentially unlocking 82% of its 23 million acres for development, yet an ongoing energy shortfall persists despite abundant reserves. Declining output leaves communities grappling with shortages. Allowances shrink, retirement funds adjust, and development projects postpone. Alaskans' advantages from resource shares to seasonal assistance hang in the balance. Heating expenses spike, isolated areas shell out fivefold the U.S. norm. As polar winters descend with frost, tempests, and prolonged dusk, fuel's role escalates to essential endurance. Alaska brims with possibilities, but amid this petroleum pinch, its rugged terrain amplifies the hurdles. Pivoting to the Gulf Coast, a refining powerhouse illustrates how supply halts can paralyze ports and livelihoods. What ripple effects do you see when a state's economic lifeline slows? Number 3. Louisiana. Louisiana, the dynamic powerhouse fueling America's energy needs, captivates with its intricate web of rivers and coasts where colossal refineries hum like giants, converting raw crude into the lifeblood of modern life. As we delve into mid-2025, the oil and gas industry stands as an economic titan, powering a remarkable 25% of the state's total economy, supporting 15% of all employment, and generating 19% of statewide earnings, translating to an annual injection of over $77.7 billion, as revealed in the latest Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association (MOGA) Economic Impact Study. This sector doesn't just extract resources, it weaves through nearly every major industry, from manufacturing to transportation, creating a ripple of prosperity that touches coastal communities and inland hubs alike. Yet imagine a gripping scenario where global supply chains buckle under pressure, casting an eerie quiet over this bustling landscape. The towering refineries along the iconic Mississippi River, boasting a combined processing capacity exceeding 3.3 million barrels per day, slow to a haunting standstill, starved of the crude oil that once flowed endlessly from distant shores and domestic fields. Tankers, those massive vessels that dotted the horizons like faithful guardians, ceased their rhythmic arrivals, leaving vast storage tanks barren and disrupting the export frenzy at the port of New Orleans, where cargo volumes could plunge amid international upheavals. This isn't merely a pause in production. It's a chain reaction that ensnares the entire logistics ecosystem, from rail lines shuttling petrochemicals across the heartland to specialized crews maintaining the flow of operations. Vibrant cities pulsing with energy commerce, such as the jazz-infused New Orleans, the industrious Baton Rouge, and the export powerhouse Lake Charles. With its LNG terminals shattering shipment records earlier this year, suddenly faced turbulent waves of job uncertainties, budgetary cutbacks, and strained community resources that test the resilience of families and businesses. Thousands of dedicated workers, from engineers to dockhands, encounter abrupt halts in their livelihoods, while ports that once operated in a symphony of round-the-clock activity slip into an unsettling calm, echoing the weight of shortages. In Louisiana, oil and gas transcend mere industry. They form the unshakable fiscal foundation and vibrant livelihood for millions, sustaining over 300,000 direct and indirect jobs across the state. When this essential lifeline falters, it sends profound ripples through society, sparking urgent conversations about innovative diversification into renewables, technology, and sustainable practices. By blending the state's rich energy heritage with forward-thinking strategies, Louisiana could emerge even stronger, turning potential challenges into opportunities for enduring growth and stability that inspire generations to come. Number 2. North Dakota. North Dakota stands as a shining star in America's shale story, where the Bakken Shale has propelled the state to produce over 1 million barrels of oil daily, with March 2020 figures hitting 1.19 million barrels per day, a solid 2.4% jump from the previous month as per official reports. This robust output not only cements North Dakota as a key player in U.S. energy independence, but also funnels more than half of the state's budget from oil and gas taxes, powering everything from schools to infrastructure. Wells could shut down en masse, costs ballooning while revenues evaporate, leading to bankruptcies and idle rigs, currently at a modest 32 count. Boomtowns like Williston and Dickinson might transform overnight, with shuttered stores, vacant houses, and for sale signs dotting the landscape, as families chase stability elsewhere in this vast wind-swept prairie. The ripple effects would hit hard, a budget deficit forcing slashes in health, education, and welfare, turning a symbol of energy triumph into a stark warning about over-reliance on a single resource. Amid these hypotheticals, real 2025 advancements shine through, enhanced recovery techniques promising to stretch Bakken life for generations, blending tradition with cutting-edge tech. EIA projections even foresee a gentle production rise by year-end, though gas bottlenecks might limit it to 40,000 barrels daily growth. North Dakota's journey captivates, a land of opportunity where innovation battles volatility, urging us to ponder how can diversification fortify this frontier against tomorrow's storms. Number 1. Texas. Texas embodies black gold, with wells gushing and billions streaming from the Permian Basin to Houston. Yet now, silence reigns. The global supplies falter, international deals dissolve, federal export limits tighten for domestic protection, delivering a massive setback. Million-dollar wells lie forsaken, refining processes halt, tankers idle. It's more than stats. Over 60,000 energy jobs vanished in the first quarter. Oil-reliant cities like Midland, Odessa, and Corpus Christi witness worker outflows unmatched since tough times past. Worse, Texas's hiccup heats up the whole U.S. energy scene. This hub doesn't just extract oil, it runs the full ecosystem, from petrochemicals to transport, storage, and global sales. Damage here sends pain through America's economic veins. Personally, as I look at North Dakota and Texas, it strikes me that innovation in energy diversification is our best bet, with over 60,000 jobs lost in Texas' first quarter alone proving the point. Nurturing green tech alongside traditional sources could build a more stable future for families everywhere. The 21st century shake-up from dwindling oil isn't just about pump prices climbing, it's ushering a fresh economic landscape where heavy oil leaners feel the squeeze first. We've counted down 10 states, from resilient New Mexico to powerhouse Texas on Top 10 America Beyond, all due to lacks in variety, planning and adaptability in a fast-evolving world. As energy turns into a global chess piece, with nations like Canada and China redirecting flows, America can't assume endless supply. Drill a new well when one dries? Sure, but shatter trust in the system, and you lose more than oil. You lose confidence, opportunities, and tomorrows. The real query isn't gas quantities anymore. It's this: can your state endure, or is it up next? Will America confront realities before energy drags it backward? On Top 10 America Beyond, we're committed to these discussions. What state do you think feels this most? Share below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Top 10 America Beyond for more insights into America's evolving stories.